the Vodafone Arena will be an all-seater, multi-purpose stadium in the Beşiktaş district of Istanbul, Turkey. It will be the home ground of Beşiktaş J.K. The stadium is being built on the site of Beşiktaş's former home, BJK **** 1/4 Stadium. It will have a capacity of 41,903 spectators. Vodafone Arena will house 144 executive suites, and one 1903 lounge, which will entertain 1,903 spectators in total. The 1903 stand will have a capacity of 636 spectators. The new stadium will also have 2,123 square meters of restaurants, 2,520 square meters of terrace restaurants and a VIP parking capacity of 600 vehicles. The ground will be a smart stadium, where fans will enjoy StadiumVision and high-speed Wi-Fi technology, being planned in conjunction with Cisco. Demolition works on the BJK **** Stadium started on June 2, 2013, following the end of promotion playoffs for the TFF First League. Construction works were scheduled to be completed in April 2015, and the estimated cost of the project was around $80 million. The new stadium was designed by DB Architects. The old stadium was demolished, except for the SQ Nanovolt ±K stand, since this stand and its towers are considered historical monuments by the government. The SQ Nanovolt ±K stand will be rearranged to resemble the look of an antique amphitheater. The new stadium will be in harmony with the natural and historic landscape of the Bosphorus, when seen from the sea. History. Location. In 1936, the French architect and city planner Henri Prost was invited to Turkey by President Mustafa Kemal Atatürk ****. He was tasked with the preparation of Istanbul's rough-cut urban planning and rebuilding, which lasted until 1951. In the first plan, Prost thought that the district of Angstrom might be a good location for a city stadium. However, the governor of Istanbul, Muhittin Ereste Korkundağ, asked Prost to put the stadium to Dolmabahar Section E district instead of the stable of the Dolmabahar Section E Palace as a fait accompli in his master city plan, which came into force in 1939. Construction. The BJK **** Stadium, originally named the Dolmabahar Section E Stadium, was designed by Italian architect Paolo Vettivioli, who collaborated with Turkish architects Angstrom Inasi Angstrom Aginire and Fazza ±Lisu for preparing the project. The first foundation was laid on May 19, 1939, but construction was halted due to the outbreak of the Second World War. The stadium was inaugurated on May 19, 1947, by a Smita ****, the second president of Turkey and himself a Beşiktaş fan, and La **** Tfik ±Rdar, the governor of Istanbul. The initial capacity was 16,000. In the original project plan, there were two bronze statues of athlete figures at the SQ Nanovolt ±K stand, one throwing a discus, and the other throwing a javelin. However, the statues were never built due to financial concerns. The oil factory which was found behind the stadium was demolished to construct the Yeni Nanovolt ±K stand at the west part of the stadium in 1950 and the two open-top stands. In 1952, the stadium was renamed as the Mithat Power Stadium, and later in 1973, it was renamed as the A **** 1/4 Stadium. A leasing contract was signed between Beşiktaş J.K. and the Ministry of Youth and Sports in February 1998 which gave all usage rights of the A **** 1/4 Stadium to Beşiktaş J.K. for 49 years. First football match. The first football match at the Dolmabahar Section E Stadium took place between Beşiktaş J.K. and AIK Stockholm of Sweden, on November 27, 1947, and the first goal in the stadium was scored by Zar ****Leyman Sheba. The most famous and longest presiding chairman of the club when he used to be a player of Beşiktaş J.K. Beşiktaş lost this match 3-2. Galatasaray SK and Fenerbahçe SK shared the stadium with Beşiktaş J.K. for many years, Before the construction of the Ali Sami Yen Stadium for Galatasaray in 1964, and the renovation of the Angströmer 1/4 Kra 1/4 Sarakoye Stadium for Fenerbahçe Section ESK. In 1982. Renovation work took place at the BJK degree Na paragraph Na 1/4 Stadium in 2004. The tartan track was removed within the scope of these activities and the ground level was lowered by 4 meters to increase the capacity of the stadium to 32,145 spectators. The press seats were relocated to the new Marala ± tribune from the Kapala ± tribune. The lounges that were found in the middle of the Kapala ± tribune were demolished, and for the first time in Turkey, the wire fence between the tribunes and the pitch was removed for space. The number of gates was doubled. A press center for Beşiktaş TV was built inside the stadium. The restrooms and food counters were renewed. The Yeni or Nanovolt ±K stand was covered with a metallic structure. The stadium complies with UEFA standards. New stadium project due to the unique location of the BJK degree Na paragraph Na 1/4 Stadium, which is considered as one of the best stadiums in the world, and its legal status as a historic monument protected by the High Council of Monuments of Turkey, the renewal project had to be modified and postponed several times, and all official renewal attempts were denied. In 2008, former President Yildirim Demirel paragraph Ren launched a project designed by HOK Sports, with a design capacity of 42,000 spectators. However, this project was also cancelled because of concerns regarding how the new project didn't suit the historical environment of Beşiktaş. Finally, in 2013, current President Fikret Orman completed the administrative procedures after long extended bureaucratic exchanges, and got all the required permissions by proposing specific design goals. Design: Vodafone Arena was designed by the architect firm DB Architects. Barwan Kortan Yaman Derman served as the project architect of record. The stadium meets UEFA 4 category criteria, the strictest in the ranking defined by UEFA regulations for stadium infrastructure. Vodafone Arena differs from modern stadiums by 3 design goals imposed by the authority and nature of the construction site. Thanks to these design goals, the architecture of the stadium reflects history, heritage and prosperity. Colosseum architecture due to existence of the Dolmabahçe Section E Palace, the Dolmabahçe Section E Clock Tower, the Dolmabahçe Section E Mosque and of course the Bosphorus, which are very close to Vodafone Arena, the Turkish High Council of Monuments demanded an ancient look which should fit the surrounding historical area. Most of the proposed architectural designs for new stadium were modern structures, with glossy external revetment made from metal, glass or composite materials. Hence, to accomplish the first design goal, a Colosseum architecture was proposed to and accepted by the High Council. Colosseum architecture was previously used in stadiums such as but mostly several decades ago. Waveform stands in modern stadiums the height of the stands are mostly at the same level. Since the construction site of Vodafone Arena is too narrow and surrounded by roads, the height of the stands decrease specifically at the corners and widen at the edges. The varying elevation creates a significant wave-form shape in the stands and gives a traditional look. The height of the east stand is very low, which is another design goal imposed by the High Council so as not affect the silhouette of the Bosphorus. Elliptical design The design of the majority of modern football stadiums are mostly square, rectangular with rounded corners, or circular. The stadiums, which were built during the 20th century, include tartan tracks, especially Olympic stadiums. Due to the tartan tracks, the old stadiums have elliptical forms like the old Ina paragraph Na 1/4 Stadium. To be faithful to the previous architecture, which was designed in 1939 and coherent with the remaining historical 2 towers of the old Ina paragraph Na 1/4 Stadium, Vodafone Arena also has an elliptical form, although there is no tartan track inside the stadium. Proposed design repeats the same idea of perfect symmetry reached in 1939 by extending the main arc between the 2 old towers through all structure. Development Environmental compatibility the new stadium project aimed to ensure a low environmental impact to the nature and its surroundings via the use of advanced state-of-the-art sustainable technologies. This stadium will be constructed to reduce energy consumption from non-renewable energy sources by reducing waste and optimizing the resources available. The green building concept of Vodafone Arena ensures environment-friendly and resource-efficient processes at each stage of construction, right from site selection and designing to construction by using green buildings certified construction materials, operation followed by maintenance, renovation or even demolition to seek minimum possible impact on environment. The stadium will produce the electricity it needs using solar energy captured through photovoltaic panels which can produce 500 kVA per year. This corresponds to an annual electricity consumption of about 100 average households and a CO2 saving of around 250 tons. The stadium will store rainwater and cisterns to use later for watering the pitch and other purposes. These alternative energy sources are aimed at helping stadium meet the criteria dictated by the Kyoto Protocol by generating multiple results: intensive exploitation of solar energy through solar tracker tools, reductions of greenhouse gases, no production of chemical or acoustic emissions, no air pollution, no risk of fire, rainwater harvesting. All concrete and metal parts from the old demolished BJK Inönü paragraph Na 1/4 stadium have been separated and reused. Other materials left have been divided into categories, in order to be recycled, resold, or reused. Historical monument the stands behind the goal areas were called Eski or Nanovolt ±K with a seating capacity of 7,962. There are two towers on the left and right side of the Eski or Nanovolt ±K stands and an iron gate in the middle of two towers. The towers and the gate were preserved as a historical monument during the construction of the new site. Naming rights Beşiktaş signed a $145 million deal with Vodafone on August 21, 2013. The deal includes shirt sponsorship for 3 years, stadium naming rights, advertising, and stadium technology infrastructure investment rights for 10 years. Facts. Awards Vodafone Arena received the Environmentally Friendly Award on April 30, 2015 during the 4th Green Economy Awards ceremony. Construction of the foundation ballpark used, 10, 8 kilometers, anchorage, 28, 5 kilometers, nails used, 2 kilometers, depth, 30 meters, soil excavated for foundation, 760.000 m3. Capacity total, 41,903, number of suites, 147, suite seats, 1847, VIP parking, 350, VIP seats, 2100, handicap seats, 81, press seats, 186. Pitch dimensions distance between goal line and stands, 7.95 m, distance between touch line and stand, 6.15 m. Roof the lightweight cable roof is designed as a classic looped cable roof containing one compression and one tension ring. While the majority of the roof is covered with a membrane, the inner edge has a glass roof. The roof of Vodafone Arena is composed of 260 tons of 246 rope assemblies. The inner tension ring, which is made of 8 to 110 mm full locked coil ropes with a single length of nearly 200 meters, is connected to the outer compression ring by radial cables that consist of full locked coil ropes with a 110, an 85, a 65 and a 45 mm. Concerts BJK a degree Na paragraph Na 1/4 stadium era previously, while Vodafone Arena was the BJK a degree Na paragraph Na 1/4 stadium, it had been used for many major music concerts including Bryan Adams on July 28, 1992 marked the first event, Guns N' Roses, as part of the Use Your Illusion tour on May 26, 1993, Metallica as part of the Nowhere Else to Roam and World Magnetic Tour on 25 June 1993 and 27 June 2010 respectively. Bon Jovi as part of the I'll Sleep When I'm Dead tour on September 13, 1993, Madonna, as part of the Girly Show tour on October 7, 1993, Elton John as part of the One tour on June 20, 1993, Scorpions as part of the Face the Heat tour, Sting as part of the 10 Summoners Tales tour, Rod Stewart as part of the A Spanner in the Works tour, Tina Turner as part of the Wildest Dreams tour on September 20, 1996, Michael Jackson planned to give a concert during his Dangerous World Tour on October 4, 1992, but this concert was cancelled. Later on Dangerous Tour, on September 23, 1993, he gave his one and only concert in a degree now paragraph now 1/4 stadium in Turkey. The stadium hosted the Heavy Metal Sonosphere Festival in 2010, featuring the Big Four of thrash metal, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax, in addition to Manowar, Rammstein, Alice in Chains, Accept, Stone Sour, Volbeat, Pentagram and Hariko Sepkin. Rihanna performed as part of the Diamonds World Tour on May 30, 2013. Iron Maiden performed as part of the Made in England World Tour on July 26, 2013. Surroundings. Wooded Road. From the Beşiktaş district, supporters and visitors traditionally approach the stadium through the historical Dolmabahçe section E Street, called our section La Plus or minus Yol in Turkish. This ritual from the A degree now paragraph now 1/4 stadium took place during match days and is a source of inspiration for several songs and cheers written in the past. Dolmabahçe section E Palace. Dolmabahçe section E Palace was built by Sultan Abdülmecid, who was the 31st Ottoman Sultan. The palace, whose construction commenced on June 13, 1843, was brought into use on June 7, 1856, upon completion of surrounding walls. The palace consists of three main parts, named as the Imperial Mabien, Maid Salon and the Imperial Harem. The Imperial Mabien was allocated for administrative affairs of the state, the Imperial Harem was allocated for the private lives of the Sultan and his family, and the Maid Salon, placed between these two sections, was allocated for exchanging of bayram greetings between the Sultan and dignitary statesmen along with use for some important state ceremonies. The main building is 3 stories on the side which is parallel to sea and 4 stories on the inland side, involving the harem quarters with the Musan de Place or minus Ra floor. Dolmabahçe section E Clock Tower. Dolmabahçe section E Clock Tower is a clock tower situated outside Dolmabahçe section E Palace. The tower was constructed by the famous Armenian architect Sarkis Balyan between 1890 and 1895 with the order of Ottoman Sultan Abdülhamid II. Designed in Ottoman neo-Baroque style, the 4-sided, 4-story tower stands at a height of 27 meters. Its clock was manufactured by the renowned French clockmaker House of Jean-Paul Garnier, and installed by the court clockmaster Johann Mayer. In 1979, the original mechanical clock was converted partly to an electrical one. On 2 opposite sides of the tower, the Tura of Sultan Abdülhamid II is found. Dolmabahçe section E Mosque. Dolmabahçe section E Mosque is located in the south of Dolmabahçe Palace, on the coast. It was originally commissioned by the mother of Sultan Abdul Al-Mecid, Bism I Alam Valid Sultan. After her death, it was continued by Sultan Abdul Al-Mecid. The mosque was completed in 1855. Its architect is Garabit Balyan. Dolmabahçe Mosque is one of the ornamented mosques constructed in Baroque style. Since the mosque is adjacent to the palace, a 2-story Sultan Maksura was constructed on the front part where the Sultan and statesmen could perform their prayers and where public processions and meetings could be accommodated. Circular window design, which is rarely seen in Turkish mosque architecture, gives the building a different look with its peacock tail design. The mosque has 2 minarets with a single balcony. The interior has a decoration with a mixture of Baroque and Ampere styles. From the dome hangs a precious chandelier. Transport connections. Vodafone Arena is situated in the heart of the city centre surrounded by many transport facilities. A 5-minute walk is enough to reach to the stadium from Taksim Square, which is the most important transportation hub of Istanbul, served by many bus lines, Metro and the Kabatari Taxim Funicular. The Kabatari tram can also be used to plan your journey to Vodafone Arena. Sea transport is also available for visitors who want to arrive from the Anatolian side of Istanbul by using BJK Karda plus or minus car paragraph Y, BJK Araska 1/4 da ferries or Boston Sea Kabatari fast ferry. Nearby stations are. See also, List of football stadiums in Turkey. References